Hi and welcome back to another boring video. If you're new here, I'm building a garage. And at the same time I'm leveling the terrain in my garden. My garden, that's the battlefield looking bomb crater in the background. In the last episode we were fighting this mountain with a cute little electric drill. In this episode we're going to finish the fight with a pneumatic jackhammer, an expanding mortar, and then some more aggressive landscaping. This might be a long episode, but in the end of it, the garage site will be fully leveled. You know why I picked this song? Because it's a rock song. Get it? From this angle, it actually looks kind of flat, but it isn't. So I rented a diesel compressor and a jackhammer for a weekend, and I estimated it was about 10 times more efficient than the electric drill. I'm not surprised though. I do prefer owning my own tools and be able to just walk outside and work whenever it fits my schedule. Renting this forced me to set my weekend schedule to boring. But it was worth it. Except for the sore back, the sore arms and crippling pain in my fingers. If you're not used to this kind of work, you're in for a treat. Everything shakes and everything is heavy. The drill weighs about 15 kilos. And the extra weight you hang on it is another 25, and you move it around constantly. But in one weekend I made some serious progress. If you're wondering, no, it's not complicated to rent a jackhammer like this. I had a 5-minute talk with the guy I rented it from, and I was good to go. It might be different for other equipment, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm not a professional. But the key things he told me were, when you start the compressor, leave one of the air valves open straight out to free air. That makes it easier for the compressor to start. Also make sure there's oil in the oil pot. That's the little yellow ball on the hose. The jackhammer needs oil vapor in the air to stay lubricated. And maybe that's just me, but I was generally afraid of the drill bit getting stuck, and I'll start spinning around with the jackhammer. But that can't actually happen. There's a mechanical slip clutch inside. If the drill bit jams, the rotation disconnects before my arms do. The hammer keeps hitting, but it stops trying to turn me into a helicopter. From this angle you can actually see how much unwanted mountain there is. When it comes to hard physical labor like this, I sometimes wonder if there's a really brilliant way to work smarter. My strategy is simple. Work really intensely until I'm battered. Take a short break and repeat. The closest thing to working smarter I came up with was drilling multiple holes with the short 40 cm bit. Then I took the long 120 cm bit and placed it into one of the pre-drilled holes, put the jackhammer on the drill bit and the 25 kilo weight on the jackhammer, and then drilled it all the way down. I'm not drill sergeant or anything, but I thought that was smart. At first I kept switching back and forth 40 centimeters, then 120, then back to 40, and so on and so on. I streamlined the process a bit with my super idea. After a few days I was ready to dig. It went pretty smoothly. There was a lot of loose rock now. How's the saying? Knife through a hot butt or something like that. I think I'll just speed up the video and let you enjoy this part. Unfortunately, the mountain wanted one last dance. So I rented the jackhammer once more, drilled some more holes and filled them with expanding mortar. And you can actually see how the mortar lifts the rock apart and breaks it into pieces. Do you remember from the last episode I had a little rant about ripper attachments for excavators being kind of expensive? Well, they cost about half of what a hydraulic quick coupler costs. So yeah, I knew that using the wide grading bucket especially was putting a lot of stress on the excavator, and eventually the quick coupler gave up. So I had to get a new one. Luckily I found an almost new coupler for around $850, which in excavator world is basically nothing. But I told myself the old coupler probably would have broken anyway. No need to dwell on that. That's the thing with owning an old, or old-ish excavator. Things break, and when they do, you fix them. Unfortunately I don't have any footage of fixing the coupler, but I did. And here's the new one. Now I'm removing all the rock that was left after the last round of expanding mortar. Technically, we already had enough space for the garage, and I really wanted to move on with the build. But after going back and forth with myself, I wasn't happy with the depth. I needed proper drainage under and around the garage, and expanding mortar is not ideal for excavating downwards. As you can probably tell by the name, it needs somewhere to expand, which meant I had to bring in someone to do proper rock blasting. There were actually 3 rounds of blasting, but I only caught footage of one of them. And since we're so close to the house, you can't go full Michael Bay. You have to do it in small chunks. And so we did. The house didn't collapse, so that's good. And now we finally had enough space and depth for the garage. Of course we had to remove a lot of rock once more. It's funny how much more space the rock takes after it's blasted. But it makes sense. It's not easy to stack the rock as tightly as it was before. But I actually need plenty of rock for subbase under the soil in the garden, so most of it went up there. Now I'm laying down some perforated drainage pipes. These connect to some 4-inch wastewater pipes that direct the water away from the garage. The downspouts from the rain gutters also connect to these pipes. And just to be clear, when it comes to pipe laying, this is not how you should do it. The orange wastewater pipes should be surrounded by sand to protect them, and the perforated drainage pipe should be covered in gravel and wrapped in fabric to prevent clogging over time. I didn't do that, because I was impatient. And honestly, the overall drainage in this small area seems to work fine. There are only stone masses underneath the garage area. I removed all the soil and only put back stone. That's my theory anyway. So yeah, if you're preparing your own foundation, do as I say, not as I do. And now we're almost level. Just have to remove a bit more excess stone again and rebuild an old stone wall. The one that was there before was very old and honestly a bit unstable. I was slightly worried that part of it might eventually collapse. Luckily I had plenty of rock left from the excavation and it had nice sharp edges, perfect for building stone walls. So I rebuilt it using that. And I actually think the new wall turned out a bit nicer than the old one. But to be fair, the old one was built with what looked like marbles compared to the rocks I had available. So I'm not claiming to be a better mason, I just had much better stones to work with. Turns out better stones make better stone walls. After that, it was finally time to finish leveling the site. If it's not obvious, that's a laser level with a receiver that beeps when it's at the same height as the laser line. This is a small one that's actually made for house construction. You know the kind, the one that's project a red line either vertically or horizontally. They also come in green flavor, but this one is red, which is actually irrelevant because you can't see the laser anyways, but the little receiver can, and it beeps faster and faster the closer it gets to the laser line. I just decided to start in a random corner, check the height, dug a bit, and check the height again. Then moved on to the next corner, and so on and so on. And eventually it was flat, and we were ready for the next step. Concrete. Lots and lots of concrete. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Hammersland, and thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed already, consider subscribing. And like the video if you liked it. If not, share it with a friend and see if they like it. Until next time, see ya.